And for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we look for a motion to approve the agenda. If
I'll make the motion.
any additions, subtractions, you're good?
I'm good.
I'll support it.
Okay, we have a motion and support. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion or the agenda is adopted. So we'll start off with a 3-minute public comment. If anyone would like to speak. Don't all rush up at the podium.
Morning. My name is Michael Kramer. I'd like to start off this by saying I respect you people, so don't take these comments too harshly. I'm surprised at the meeting we had here, the last facilities meeting, at the disrespect that was shown to my commissioners by the library staff. And it shocked me when they walked out of the meeting early and you weren't even done talking to them. I would never do that in my careers and expect to come back. So the fact that they did that kind of shocked. And apparently then one of our group was down there at Cabin Creek and they went down there and badmouthed the commissioners in public. Okay, that's their prerogative, I guess. But then we went to that meeting that day at 5 o'clock and we got nothing but a diatribe of how bad we were, up to and including Luther called us Christo-fascists. She came real close to getting thrown out of the room by me. As a veteran, I am not a fascist and I have fought against fascism in my life. That was a ridiculous comment for a public employee of the library to state to anybody in this county. But she did it. And then it goes on from there. This last weekend, she wrote an editorial and she tells us citizens that we should start community service, volunteer to soup kitchens, help other people out instead of interrupting their agenda at the library. She's totally putting us down like we don't do. I do volunteer at the soup kitchen. I do a lot of other things in this community. This woman is out of control. I couldn't stand it. I stood up and said things that I didn't really think I should say, but she so incensed me. So I just don't understand why. Who's the boss here? Are these women really in charge? Is this the way it's going to go? They're driving a wedge into our community. We go around, we're distributing these flyers that we made up. We're spending a lot of money to protect children. And the people that have the support the library sign, they don't even know about the books. We've showed it to them and a couple of them pulled the signs out and put our signs up. This is a total misrepresentation of what we're saying. The editorials are all circumcised to make us look like fascists. It's just ridiculous. I'm so disgusted with it that I, a bookworm, would fight to close a library over pages of pornographic material. Now they're making out that we're some kind of creatures of the dark because we're going to close our great library for a few pages. Well, they're doing the same damn thing, but it's pornography in the face of our children. It's disgusting. It's ridiculous. And the fact that they're allowed to drive a wedge between the community and make this come down to a vote, a brinksmanship vote on our library is crazy. It's crazy. I've run a lot of companies in my day, and I've never seen management handled like this. When those women walked out of this room before you were done talking to them, that should have been it. Hit the road, go to the unemployment office, don't come back. They're stonewalling us. If this library millage passes, we don't have any recourse. We're going to have a photographer in our library, and that's the way it's going to go. I'm fed up with it, disgusted. I expect better leadership from my leaders. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else care to talk? Ted, I know you like to talk.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay, with that, we'll close the public comment and we'll move into Chief Deputy Treasurer Cindy.
Hello.
Hello.
You have in your packet the Northern Lights reimbursement request. And they only have one item on here this time, totaling $556 for field floodlights for outside.
Okay. Um,
Make a motion that we take care of that.
I don't know, we pay that.
well, so let's get some questions since Jessica's here. So, can you fill us in on what this was? What is field floodlights?
Yep, they're the ones that are out front in front of the building. And I think it was more a conversation with Jeremy, I think it might have been with Jesse, when you guys were doing like the walk through the building.
Yeah,
Those floodlights that were
okay.
basically shine up on the building. I don't know if it was from like plowing, mowing, something like that, they got hit. He asked us to replace them and they're outside lighting, so that's why they are on there.
Okay,
Not necessarily to replace them. I just didn't know what happened, if they were fixable. Every single one of the heads were hanging off of the stilt that's supposed to hold them up.
is that a
Yeah.
problem?
Yeah, I thought it might be. So I brought to their attention. It's not necessarily, yeah. So that's what that is.
Okay, all right,
So every time you mow the lawn, this is gonna happen?
No, I don't, and I guess.
it's probably from,
My standpoint, I knew they were broken and they were brought to everybody's attention and they still worked. So they were just like, instead of sitting upright, they were just like sitting tilted, like basically out on the ground, still shining onto the building. So then we got new ones, so they'll be in the upright position, so there's no exposed wires or anything like that outside. And now that Jeremy does our plowing of the parking lot, like he knows where all those things are, they won't be hit.
so it probably sounds like when they plowed the parking lot, they pushed too much snow, which probably snapped it and,
Yeah, and so I've been there for 4 years and they've been that way. And I think that's kind of when Jeremy started taking over plowing, so like, he knows where they are, he hasn't hit them yet, and they're in a different position. So by fixing them, they're not gonna, I shouldn't say they're not gonna get hit again, but
Well,
the chances of them getting hit again would be less likely, because he knows where they are.
Are you sure that they were hit and it wasn't vandalism? Out of curiosity, I'm not sure. It just seemed odd that every single one, usually you'd expect maybe one of them to survive maybe. But for every single one, I'm like, I could picture somebody going brown just,
No, I'm not sure on it. We're taking steps. We have those camera systems that are gonna be going
oh,
in
nice.
this summer that helps. catch that if I was just thinking they were proud or they got plowing,
Okay.
but
okay,
that's what those are.
okay.
So we have a
So
motion.
he made a motion. Do you still want to keep that motion? Oh, okay. And we have support now. Any further discussion? Anything and again, I'm going to give my little spiel here. The appendix B, maybe I'll get with you afterwards, Jesse.
Okay.
Over this, and we can talk about that, but I'll skip that then, because I feel like I say the same thing all the time. Okay, so if there's no other discussion, roll call.
Oh, on the light.
What?
You're talking, you want a roll call on that light, right?
Yeah. Yeah, to
I was
prove.
gonna say something else about,
It's right.
So we good then?
yeah, then I'll talk about this after.
All right, roll call.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes,
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes,
okay.
okay.
What I wanted to say is, was that's the only bill that was turned in was a
Yeah.
556.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because when they send stuff like this, I'm not sure if it's. a
That's the
bill.
back of the check.
Yeah,
What's the back of the check? Oh, yeah.
because I get
That's just to
this,
show that.
I get this that you paid,
Yep. Well, that's the invoice or whatever, and then,
right, but then I got
Check is
that in there.
yeah, and that just
The
shows
check shows they paid
I
it.
got this,
that.
That's the back of the check.
Yeah.
about this and this.
We were told that when I do the reimbursement, we have to attach the invoice and then showing the clear checks, we do the front and the back of the check.
Oh, you have to show the back also,
Yeah.
because I couldn't figure.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next up is Wes, maintenance superintendent.
Morning.
Morning.
For the Merchants Building, improvements, are nearly complete. LED lighting has been installed. Drinking fountain has been installed. 5 of the 6 windows have been installed. They're finishing up the trim on those ones right now, actually. Racetrack fence, we have removed 27 boards. Well, part of them were already down, but we've replaced 27 boards on there. We will continue with the cleanup of the poles and rest of the fence for getting some primer and paint on them. The HVAC at the MDOT building, we made contact with an engineer who didn't think he needed to come here. He thought he could work through it just with some drawings that we sent him. So he's working with Control Solutions. It looks like there's probably gonna have to be some duct work redone. And I'm still waiting for a quote on that.
Why would we need to redo the duct work? What's the matter with the
It
duct?
has to do with the intake, the air intake and the return air damper. Apparently this is something that was designed into the building when it was built. There was no complaints about it for years, and then last summer they complained about it being cold all the time.
Yeah, because that building has been there for
Yeah.
a while.
And it's original equipment, but they're probably gonna have to be some things redone in order to keep the building at the temperature it needs to be at. HB or the AC at the 7-Eleven building. There were a couple of units that were just low on cooling, so we had them repaired. I think that invoice was attached for $3,035, something like that, for Control Solutions. And then there's 2 units that have leaks in the cooling coils. The coils need to be pulled out, repaired and put back in, and then the refrigerant put back in. And there's a third one that has a bad compressor in it. It needs to be replaced. So that all totaled, comes out to about $13,400.
And we're taking this money out of the money that we put into,
The building fund,
okay,
yes, and there's actually $107,000 available in that fund as of the 11th. And if I could, I would like to, on that one, request a pole vote, just so I can get this stuff ordered. I got a couple of cooler days now, but going back into the 80s, and it is quite warm in that building.
so
The total amount I need is $16,500.
How long have you known about these problems, Wes?
About a month, 6 weeks maybe.
Okay, I really wish you would have brought it to the board before this.
I didn't have numbers.
Okay, because this, you know, we're doing a lot of poll votes and
this one, we can make, if someone wants to make
That's
a
good.
motion to transfer. And then, because you don't, I mean, when do you need this by? When do you need the 16,000? Before next Tuesday?
Pay the bills. I mean,
No, but do you need it before next Tuesday?
no, I just need to know that the money is gonna be available.
Okay.
So I can get them to,
so we wouldn't have to do a poll vote.
Add
Do
it
it
to
today
the,
and, yeah.
add it,
We can just make the
motion and add it to the full board for next week.
motion that we approve whatever he needs for the
16,000.
16,000. Okay, I'll support that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner LaHaye and support by Commissioner Fournier. Any other to transfer the 16,500? Any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes,
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes,
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes.
okay, there you go.
the next item is a circulating pump on, HVAC system at the, health department that has developed a leak, and the pump, minimum needs to be rebuilt. The cost of that is $4,500. That again, I would like to see a transfer from the building fund, which is, has $278,000 available. Transfer $4,500 into the maintenance line item.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll have a motion and support to transfer the $4,500 from the Health Department fund to cover that. Any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes.
And the last thing I guess on there is the,
Jesse, can you remind me later to ask you about that building?
Yeah.
Thanks.
animal control roof replacement. It's in hand. We're just waiting on some few dry days in a row here where we can get back going and take care of it.
You. I've seen John's home maintenance knock out a building in a day.
He works long days also.
Trust me, I know. I just went and did the roof with my son, and we're out there at 8 o'clock in the morning. Granted, in the middle of the day, I wasn't on the roof, but I was out there until 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
And it's a fairly small roof.
Well, that's why I was giving you a hard time.
I think I think we can tear it off, and then once we get it tore off and the underlayment down, we have to call for an inspection before we put shingles down, but it'll be simple.
What are they inspecting? Just the,
To make sure you got your ice and water barrier on and that sort of thing.
who does that inspection?
City building inspector,
Who's that?
Paul.
Because I thought I just talked to him. Is he just doing that part-time right now? Because he's not, I didn't think he was full-time anymore.
I don't know. I know he's got an assistant. I'm not sure what his assistant's name is, but
Okay.
and when I went and got the permit, they just sold it to me over the counter. They didn't even have the inspector look at the application.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Wes.
Okay, up next. Administrator Jesse Osborne.
So we have, sorry, 1 second. This. MDOT came to us, they would like to renew their lease, option through 2035, with possible extensions through 2045. So this is really just for the commissioner, or I'm sorry, for this committee to review and be prepared to basically vote on it in the future. I'd like to go back and look at these numbers one more time, because I don't think the increase for the 2040 to through 2045, it would go from 36 to 45,000. But if you look at what we were locked in at, we've been locked in for almost 20 years at the 36,000. And I just think that's a long time to stay at a static number. So I'd like to go back and negotiate with them.
Yeah.
Should be an escalator in there.
Yeah, percentage increase.
So again, this is just more of an FYI, so it's on your radar. It'll be coming back, but once you review it, if you have additional items that you'd like me to discuss with them, happy to do that as well, but I'd like to revisit that rate.
I agree with Jesse on that after all those views. No increase.
And then the second item is the blank facility lease template. This deals with the issue at the airport with Mr. Welch. So Steve needs basically the new facility lease agreement. This was one that was approved by the attorney. So I'm just putting it forth for your consideration.
So do you want us to make a motion?
I'd appreciate that, yes.
All right.
What motion do you want? A motion to?
To accept use of this facility lease template, I guess, for use at the airport.
And this was the one that Steve had talked about and then made some changes. Which attorney, was that an outside attorney that
This one was, not Mr. Reinert. The other one, I apologize, I'm lacking the name, but one of the bigger firms that we work with.
Oh,
This is the airport one and not the,
This is the one we told them not to use, and then it was too late because they already used it.
This is the airport one he's talking about right now. We're not
Correct.
gonna do anything with the other.
but he would like, yeah, the first
The
stuff.
first
is-
one, we're not gonna do anything with.
Yeah,
He's talking about the lease right now. The lease template. Would you repeat what you wanted to do with that again?
Sure, I would just like I would like you to allow me to use this lease, I guess adopt use of this lease for use at the airport.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
okay. Do we have a motion to adopt this lease template?
I'll support that.
We have support. Any other discussion? Yes. If not, I would, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Next up, so it looks like the recycling reports, monthly reports. We're gonna get a chance to look at those and come up with any questions. There were no questions, then I would,
Make a motion that we, receive and file the recycling.
um,
I'll support.
we have support. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passed. There are a couple things I have to go talk to. I was hoping Jessica would have stuck around, but I need to talk to Northern Lights about some things with the recycling committee that was brought up. And I can get with hopefully her or Jeremy. So do we have a Fairgrounds Manager's monthly report?
It's attached.
Oh, it's attached?
Yeah. There's just one now on the fairgrounds, and this is just fairly new, so
Oh, yeah.
I can definitely put it to the full board if you'd like, but want to make you aware. I was approached to ask if they could bring on one more co-host. The reason being is, I think, the other night, Nick and Holly had wanted to go to dinner and just a quick movie. They haven't been out in a while. They went for 2 hours, and the entire time Holly's checking her phone and worried that things might be falling apart because it's only the two of them. They do have some,
Bring on an additional host. We don't have any?
no, it's just Nick and Holly out.
Oh, yeah, I definitely, I mean, if all the other parks have one, I have one with that.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I didn't think it'd be an issue, but I wanted to make you aware.
Yeah.
So we'll probably just do the same deal that we have with the other parks where, they get a discount on their campsite.
A discount or?
Well, it's only one person, so it'd be 50%.
Yeah.
If it's a couple, it's 100, so. Perfect, so I'll move.
Do we need a motion on that? Because, well, I would think,
It'd be nice just to have it on the record, but
okay,
I don't think we need to put it to the full board because it's
well,
basically just management.
we have the same thing, the same policy at all the other parks, so.
Okay.
So would someone like to make a motion to accept a camp host at?
I'll make the motion.
Support.
So we have a motion and support for the camp host at the fairgrounds. If there are any discussion, if not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
I
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passed.
have a question for Jesse.
Sure.
Have you heard any more from the Boys Club, Girls Club?
Yeah,
We have a meeting coming up with them.
Okay,
Yeah, they asked for a meeting to discuss it before.
thank you.
Oh, one other note on the fairgrounds, sorry, they did have somebody in mind for the co-host. It was a former host out at Sunken Lake Park. And Jennifer cleared him, so we don't have to do a background check or anything like that. It's good to go.
okay. Okay,
On this report here, there's the caretaker's house, the porch needs to be replaced. Is that correct? Wes? Said the boards are rotting in the back or what?
Oh, it must be the back deck. This is the first I've heard of it, but I'll go take a look this afternoon.
Says back porch of caretaker house rotting to be needs something to be, I guess, to be replaced outside of the merchant building. Oh, yeah, outside of the merchant building needs to be repainted.
And
So those items will go on their wish list for when they do their budgets. We can just
Was it
incorporate
a
that.
wish list to paint?
I would say the painting's a wish list, but the replacement of a rotting porch
Well,
will.
the merchant's building should be covered by,
They have their own budget for that, yeah.
not sure. what-
And I can tell you right now, with the work that we've done in the merchant building and the roof on the animal control, you guys have already transferred extra money a couple of times. There's not money in that line item to paint the building.
What's
It
the,
needs a lot of work before.
are they talking the upper part of that where that wood is?
Talk about the whole building.
Oh,
Oh, well, that should go on the budget.
yeah.
Wish list.
Well, the only reason I was gonna, if it's the wood that's, exposed or whatever, I can see if we just need to put some paint primer or whatever on that, but yeah, the whole building is.
Yeah,
gonna be
that's
a lot
something
more.
different. The back porch, are they talking about the,
There's a deck on the back of the house that's 10 or 12 feet long and 8 feet
I
wide.
know how to fix that, take it out. Then we don't, take it out, then we don't have a problem.
So there's about, I'd say 6 or 7 steps to the ground from the kitchen door, so.
yeah,
That first step is a doozy.
It might be as simple as replacing some board and putting coat of.
okay, well, you probably should look at it then because I'd hate for somebody to get injured.
I can't believe it's too terribly bad and they not.
Well, it can't be falling over because this is the first we're hearing of.
Well, it's built on steel posts that are concrete.
Okay.
Concrete in the ground.
So it'd just be the boards that,
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at it.
okay,
Okay.
thank you,
I mean,
Rich.
if it's just a few boards, we'll get some anyway.
Okay. Appreciate it.
okay, what about this last maintenance thing here? Bathrooms by Hog Barn need to be updated and remodeled. What's going on with that?
That's the 4H bathrooms and those were painted, last summer, I believe it was. The Fair Board went in and painted those. It's LED lighting, it's just concrete block walls, the concrete block dividers. It just,
Just the way it is, right?
I mean, everything works, but.
Yeah.
it just looks old.
Does the public use that restroom
Probably during the fair.
during the fair?
There might be like for horse shows, they open those, so they don't have to go all the way to the other end of the fairgrounds to use restrooms.
Okay.
But generally, no, they're not open.
Okay, so how bad do you think they are if everything works?
Pardon me?
How bad is it really? I mean, if everything works, does it just need like
I mean,
painting or?
it'd be much easier to clean if it had FRP on the walls. It's just a wood ceiling. All that,
Who cleans that?
thinking Holland.
Well, it's probably not, you said it's only used mainly during the
Fair?
fair.
Yeah, that and horse shows. Only
So
when
it's-
there's events going on at that end of the fairground.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember when we took a tour, it was actually Brenda, myself, you and Dave Karshniks, and this was a long time ago.
Long time ago.
And we kind of looked in there and it looked pretty bad, but I think at that point it hadn't been used or wasn't being used.
Yeah, it's not used any more now than it was then, but like I say, since then, the building's been painted inside. It's been cleaned up quite a bit.
Okay.
Right.
It just looks old,
Well, then, if it's cleaned up and it's usable, I think we should just wait on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Another item here is fill potholes in park. And then red truck is in the garage. What's the deal with all that?
Potholes where?
In the park, just probably driving around.
We've done a lot of that already.
Okay.
Red truck has gone in, Patrick had figured it into one place who couldn't find the problem. It came back to us, still having the same problem. It was just randomly quit. You could be sitting there with a runner and it just shut off, started back up. but you never knew when it was gonna shut off. So we took it out to where it is. There was coil packs that were arcing, shorting out, the cam positioning sensors were bad. So they replaced all that stuff, drove it for a few days, but didn't have a problem with it. So we got it back. 2 days later, it was doing the same thing again. So we took it back to them. And there was a code that popped up and it said it was the cam position or the crank positioning sensors. So he changed those, and for whatever reason, now the truck won't start at all. And it's not showing any code of anything wrong. So it's still in the shop work, they're being worked.
What year is that?
2012, about 97,000 miles on it.
Do you use that truck a lot or did you, or?
The caretaker, that's the truck that's the caretaker uses. Right now, he's using one of the other trucks.
What does the caretaker actually use the truck to do?
Make deposits, run around the campgrounds doing what he needs to do.
'Cause Jesse's got an idea about golf carts.
Yeah.
We can't go to town, can't go to town in a golf cart.
Well, you could walk over from there, well, maybe not, but I know Tim takes his bike. So.
In the
that
winter?
works.
I think most of our park managers have vehicles of their own though. Just do the mileage once a week, be cheaper than a leased vehicle.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
No, good.
Okay, and I think,
So just about, what do you plan on doing with the truck at this point?
well, they're hopefully gonna get it
Yeah,
fixed.
they're looking into what's going on with it.
Okay, so you have it back in the shop, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, never left the shop.
Never left the shop, okay. Thank you.
okay, so that looks like it's it for the agenda. Next meeting is Wednesday, August 21st at 9 a.m. And I will not be here. I already know that. My son's getting married and I get to watch the dog in Grand Rapids.
I have a question here before we,
Sure.
on Mr. Kramer, remarks, what's going on with the library? We got a meeting with him?
So, no, so,
Originally, we did. So there's discussion. We had a date set up and then the library director announced her resignation. We received notice that they needed more time to get everything together. And then it went from a presentation for the commissioners to individual sessions where they break down like not meeting a quorum. So 2 or 3 commissioners at a time, they'd meet with everybody and rotate them in throughout the day. So
I think we have to make some kind of move on this thing. It's gone too far and there's too much,
So they want us to go to the library to have
that
a
was their
meeting with them.
recommendation.
Oh, that's not a good recommendation.
Yeah.
so
I
you
think
should,
they should come.
you should bring that up at the full board, or I'll bring it up at the full board, put that on the agenda, because we've got to make a decision on that. Somebody's gonna have to say yes or no here, what they want to do. I'm tired of it too.
Time to, yeah. But I don't think we should have to go to them. They're the ones that have the problems. Come to us.
We gotta get it straight around.
That was what we had discussed and they would schedule an informational meeting and I think that we had some confusion because I was getting an email from an individual, which I think was totally separate. And he just happened to have something in his title that said library. And so I think we were under the impression that that was that guy reaching out. So we put him on the, I think, full board meeting at the end of the month. And then I asked Lynn to look into it because I didn't think it was
Right, yeah.
We were thinking it was.
yeah, you're correct. Yeah, there was.
Turned out that
confusion.
it wasn't. So,
But yeah, I mean, the original intent was they said there were sessions for the commissioners, but now they're kind of saying, well, we're gonna do it at our location, we're gonna do it in smaller groups. It's not really
No.
helpful, I think, but
yeah.
The assistant director is the one that's causing all the problem here.
She's kind of the only one.
Well, she is now. So, and just to go along with, with your comments, the only thing that we can do really, and I'm not in favor, because I feel like if we do that, then we're no better than some other people, but, it's been brought up to eliminate the board. And I don't like to just, if they're not doing what we want them to do, then we'll eliminate them. I know I've had conversations with Jesse about how to move forward with that, but ultimately, I guess to a point that you made, the library board of directors are responsible for the employees, the individuals, maybe not, probably more so the director and maybe the assistant director. But as far as probably, library staff or whoever, I would think that would be up to then the library director and assistant director. So, your choices are you eliminate the entire library board. Because we don't have the authority to, dictate who the library director and or assistant director are. That's technically up to the library board. And, I have, again, I've had a lot of conversations with Jesse on that, on my thoughts and feelings with that, but I think I know how I would like to move forward, and we just have to kind of work through this, so I don't know. So, but we can, I know, well, at the last meeting, Bert had asked to make sure that we added something to the agenda, which we did. And at that time, we were still waiting to hear back from the library director at the time, because we had reached out to her. I think she had responded to us on July 1st, and we hadn't heard from her, and then Jesse or Lynn or somebody reached back out to them. And then that was, I think it was after our full board finance that we got the response back that that they would be giving us individual, one or two commissioners at a time, informational stuff, and we could go to them. So, and I know Jesse did reach back out to them saying that's not what we expected, and so the latest is, well, we've lost the library director since then. And the assistant director has come back and said, and to kind of put it back on us.
My concern is, though, in the letter, she said that they find smaller group meetings more conducive to conversation, and that some of the meetings here become hostile. I didn't realize she's calling veterans fascists, so it doesn't sound like their meetings are any less hostile than ours, but that would just be my own opinion.
Yeah.
Outrageous. I'm gonna run for mayor because the mayor stood up and defended her. I'm sick of this. I'm not a weirdo. I don't even go to church, but I'm a Christian. I follow Christ. Don't call me a fascist. That's war. That woman is out of control, and I'm not gonna tolerate it.
Well, so we can add it to the full
Okay.
board, and then have a continued discussion on that and go from there. And that's actually next Tuesday. So,
Because that's really our responsibility, the library, so.
well, the library board is our, because we're not funding it, although we are funding it through the millage, so.
Mhm.
Okay, bring that up at the next meeting and,
Okay, so we'll add it.
need a motion to adjourn then.
Yeah,
I'll make the
okay,
motion.
we have a motion to support. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Okay, we're adjourned.